Filipinos around the world are facing a huge crisis. Mass deportations are happening right now, and it's even worse than you think. Countries that once welcomed Filipino workers are now tightening their immigration policies, leaving thousands of Filipinos jobless and forced to return home. Families are being torn apart, dreams shattered, and livelihoods destroyed. What's behind this sudden shift? Is it new immigration laws, economic downturns, or a push to prioritize local workers? Stay with us as we uncover the 8 countries that are deporting Filipinos in massive numbers, and why this could affect you or someone you know. And trust me, you won't believe who's number 1. 8. Canada. Canada has long been seen as a dream destination for Filipinos looking for better job opportunities and a higher quality of life. But in 2025, things have taken a drastic turn. The Canadian government is tightening its immigration policies, making it harder for Filipino workers to stay. The biggest impact has been on temporary foreign workers, particularly in the hospitality, retail, and caregiving sectors. Canada is shifting its focus to attract more high-skilled professionals in areas like healthcare and technology, leaving many Filipino workers in other sectors struggling to renew their visas. Without permanent residency or work permit renewals, thousands are being forced to leave. Economic challenges, including rising inflation and job losses, have also led Canadian businesses to cut costs, and unfortunately, that often means laying off foreign workers first. Many Filipinos who have built their lives in Canada for years are now facing deportation due to visa expirations and stricter immigration enforcement. Despite advocacy from Filipino communities, Canada's shift toward workforce nationalization means that deportations are only expected to increase in the coming months. For many, the dream of living in Canada is turning into a nightmare. 7. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has been one of the top destinations for overseas Filipino workers, OFWs, for decades, especially in construction, domestic work, and healthcare. However, the country has been aggressively implementing Saudization policies, prioritizing Saudi citizens for jobs. As a result, thousands of Filipinos are being sent home. Under the government's Vision 2030 plan, Saudi Arabia aims to reduce reliance on foreign workers, which has led to a massive crackdown on undocumented workers and even legal OFWs who are being replaced by locals. Work permits are becoming harder to renew, and stricter visa regulations mean that Filipinos who have lived and worked in Saudi Arabia for years are suddenly being forced out. To make things worse, economic pressures from fluctuating oil prices have led to job cuts across multiple industries, disproportionately affecting foreign workers. Mass deportations, surprise inspections, and crackdowns on work permits have created an environment of fear and uncertainty for many Filipinos still in the country. Saudi Arabia's once welcoming stance towards Filipino workers is shifting dramatically, leaving thousands jobless and uncertain about their future. Six. United Arab Emirates, UAE. United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates, particularly Dubai and Abu Dhabi, has been a hub for Filipino workers in various industries, from construction and retail to finance and hospitality. But in 2025, the UAE is intensifying its efforts to replace foreign workers with Emiratis, leading to a wave of deportations. the amortization policy is being aggressively enforced, forcing businesses to hire local citizens over expats. As a result, many Filipinos have lost their jobs, and work permit renewals have become increasingly difficult. Even Filipinos in white-collar professions like banking and tech are struggling to stay as companies prioritize Emirati employees. Additionally, the UAE's economic transition away from oil has led to restructuring in many industries, making foreign workers more vulnerable to job losses. Many businesses are downsizing, and Filipinos, who once played a key role in the country's labor force, are finding themselves forced to leave. Despite Filipino workers' significant contributions to the UAE's economy, tighter immigration policies and local workforce prioritization have made it one of the toughest places for Filipinos to secure long-term employment in 2025. Taiwan. Taiwan has long been a major employer of Filipino workers, particularly in factories, caregiving, and domestic work. However, in 2025, massive changes in the country's economic landscape and labor policies have significantly reduced opportunities for foreign workers. This shift has resulted in thousands of Filipinos losing their jobs and being forced to return home. One of the biggest reasons behind this is Taiwan's push for local employment. The government is tightening its immigration rules, making it harder for companies to renew work permits for foreign workers. Additionally, Taiwan is investing heavily in automation and AI-driven technology, particularly in the manufacturing sector. Machines are replacing manual labor, leading to mass layoffs among Filipino factory workers. Geopolitical tensions between Taiwan and China have also created an unstable economic environment. Many Taiwanese companies are struggling with higher operational costs and trade restrictions, forcing them to cut expenses. One of the easiest ways to save money is to reduce foreign labor, which has hit the Filipino workforce hard. For many OFWs in Taiwan, this situation is heartbreaking. Some have worked in the country for over a decade, building their lives and supporting families back home. But with stricter immigration laws, fewer job opportunities, and increasing deportations, many Filipinos have no choice but to return to the Philippines and start over. 4. Kuwait. Kuwait has never been an easy place for Filipino workers, especially domestic helpers. Reports of exploitation, abuse, and labor rights violations have been widespread for years. However, 2025 has seen an alarming increase in mass deportations, making Kuwait an even more hostile environment for Filipinos. The worsening situation can be traced back to growing tensions between Kuwait and the Philippines. In recent years, the Philippine government has pushed for better labor protections for its workers abroad, particularly in the Middle East. This has led to diplomatic conflicts, with Kuwait responding by restricting work permits for new Filipino hires and enforcing stricter policies on those already in the country. At the same time, the Kuwaiti government has been prioritizing local employment, aiming to reduce dependence on foreign labor. This has resulted in mass layoffs in industries like construction, domestic work, and hospitality, where many Filipinos are employed. Crackdowns on undocumented workers have also intensified, leading to arrests, detentions, and forced deportations. The impact on Filipino families has been devastating. many OFWs in Kuwait have lost their jobs overnight, with little time to prepare for their return. The situation continues to deteriorate, and thousands of Filipinos are being sent back home with no clear future. 3. Hong Kong. Hong Kong has traditionally been a top destination for Filipino workers, particularly in domestic work, retail, and hospitality. However, due to ongoing economic instability and political changes, many Filipinos in Hong Kong are now facing mass layoffs, stricter visa policies, and sudden deportations. The economic situation in Hong Kong has been declining in recent years, with many businesses shutting down or downsizing. This has led to a wave of job losses, and unfortunately, foreign workers are often the first to go. Employers who once relied on Filipino workers for domestic and service roles are no longer able to afford their salaries, forcing many to end contracts early. Adding to the crisis, China's increasing political influence over Hong Kong has resulted in tighter labor laws. The Hong Kong government is now favoring local workers over foreign hires, making it difficult for Filipinos to renew their visas or find new employment. For many OFWs who have spent years in Hong Kong, this shift is heartbreaking. Some are being forced to leave within days of losing their jobs, leaving them with little time to prepare. With fewer opportunities and stricter immigration policies, many Filipinos are facing an uncertain future as they return home. 2. Qatar. Qatar has been a major employer of Filipino workers, especially in construction, hospitality, and domestic services. However, since the 2022 FIFA World Cup, the country's labor market has drastically changed, leading to mass layoffs and deportations of foreign workers, including thousands of Filipinos. Before the World Cup, Qatar underwent a massive construction boom, hiring thousands of foreign workers to build stadiums, hotels, and infrastructure. But now that the event is over, demand for foreign labor has plummeted. Many companies have shut down, and workers have been left stranded without jobs or proper documentation. Another major factor is Qatar's push for workforce nationalization. The government is implementing stricter Qatarization policies, which aim to prioritize Qatari citizens for jobs. This means that many Filipino workers, even those with valid contracts, are being replaced by locals and forced to return home. The situation is even worse for undocumented workers, who are being rounded up in mass deportation campaigns. Some have reported being detained before being sent back to the Philippines, often with no money or resources to start over. With fewer job opportunities and tighter immigration laws, Qatar is becoming an increasingly difficult place for Filipinos to work. 1. Singapore. Singapore has long been a popular destination for Filipino workers due to its strong economy, high wages, and demand for foreign labor. However, in 2025, the government has significantly tightened its labor policies, making it extremely difficult for Filipinos to stay in the country. One of the biggest reasons for this is Singapore's strict foreign labor quotas. The government is prioritizing local employment, meaning companies now face tougher restrictions when hiring foreigners. As a result, many Filipino workers in construction, retail, and hospitality are losing their jobs and being forced to return home. Additionally, the cost of living in Singapore has skyrocketed, making it harder for OFWs to survive. Even those who manage to keep their jobs are struggling with higher rent, food prices, and living expenses. Many are choosing to leave voluntarily because they can no longer afford to stay. For domestic workers, regulations have also become tighter, with many employers opting for other nationalities due to changes in employment rules. Work permit renewals have become more difficult, and deportations have increased significantly. With job security at an all-time low and the government making it harder for foreigners to stay, Singapore is no longer the safe haven for Filipino workers that it once was. Conclusion: mass deportations of Filipinos in 2025 are a harsh reality that many are facing worldwide. Whether it's stricter immigration policies, economic downturns, or workforce nationalization, thousands of Filipinos are losing their jobs and being forced to return home. What do you think about these shocking deportations? Are they justified or unfair? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates.